In heaven, Tokyo is vomiting and fears that he might have come down with the same illness that Taro has. However, after going to check, the robot at the clinic tells him he's healthy but tired. Relieved, Tokyo goes back to his room to have a good night's rest, but then Asura, who should have died, appears to him at night and asks him what his specialty is. Immediately, his body starts to undergo strange changes, with his leg turning red at a frightening pace. But suddenly, he opens his eyes and realizes it was a nightmare. Still quite frightened, Tokyo sneaks out of his room to Kona's room for comfort, but then the two begin engaging in rather intimate activities and seem to have developed a secret affair. As they proceed, it is revealed that Tokyo's body has quite feminine characteristics as opposed to the original idea of the character. Elsewhere, the scientist who found the footprint in the lab runs some tests and discovers that the boot belongs to Tokyo, but he is perplexed by how the security cameras didn't see him. Back outside the walls, Maru and Kiruko plan to get some clean water before embarking on their journey to the Immortal Order, so they store their luggage at a nearby guest house owned by a girl named Todori. However, upon getting to the said location, they find that it's just an old underground parking lot and there's no clean water. While looking around, they find an injured man lying on the ground, and a few moments later, they're attacked by the monster that injured the man. Kiruko manages to trap it under a pillar, but when Maru tries to kill it with his powers, it doesn't work, and that's when they realize that it's a giant bear. Knowing Maru can't kill it, the two climb up a tall platform and wait for the bear to leave, but when the beast doesn't leave after a long time, Kiruko decides to kill it with her special pistol. Unfortunately, she accidentally drops the battery from the high platform. Knowing Maru has a better chance of surviving if he goes to retrieve it, she promises to allow him to touch her body if he successfully gets the battery. Without wasting a second, the Lecker's boy jumps down to retrieve it, so Kiruko shoots the bear and kills it. Afterward, the two return to the hotel, and the injured man is rescued. At the hotel, Kiruko keeps feeling that they were set up with the markings on the map because there was never any water, so it means that someone wanted them to be attacked. Maru just interrupts her by asking for his reward before playfully touching her. Todori enters the room to see them and immediately tells them that intimate activities are prohibited in the room. However, she then unexpectedly takes Maru to another room and seduces him. Turns out, she also offers such services for extra cash. When Maru tries to push her away, he accidentally touches her and immediately feels the same sensation he does when he uses his powers to squeeze the heart of a man-eating monster, so he becomes frightened. Suddenly, Kiruko walks in on them, and afterward, Todori explains that she's an orphan who seeks to make enough money to eventually become a hotel tycoon. Later that night, Maru tells Kiruko what he felt when he touched Todori, but neither of them can make anything out of it, so they go to sleep. The next morning, Maru and Kiruko say goodbye to Todori and continue on their journey. Following a map, the two finally arrive at the location of the Immortal Order, but on getting there, they don't find anything. So they write a sign and carry it around, announcing that they're offering services to kill monsters. Eventually, the men from the Immortal Order who are hiding find out about Maru and Kiruko, so they inform a strange doctor who is their leader. The man orders that the two strangers be brought to him, but someone else takes them away before that. Turns out, this other person is from an organization called Livunam that opposes the Immortal Order because they see the doctor and his followers as monsters. A while ago, one of their members was injured on the leg, and when they took her to the doctor for treatment, he cut off her leg and replaced it with a mechanical leg, even though the injury wasn't that severe. Since then, they have resolved to fight against the Immortal Order and the unethical human body modifications they perform. The girl whose leg was replaced reveals that while she was at the Immortal Order, she did some snooping and found a room where they are breeding man-eating monsters so they can use them to fatally injure people who would then seek treatment. As a result, this organization offers Maru and Kiruko a contract to infiltrate the Immortal Order and kill the man-eating monsters. Before accepting and embarking on the mission, Kiruko shows them a picture of the doctor she seeks and asks if it's the same person leading the Immortal Order, but to her disappointment, it's not. The next day, Maru and Kiruko sneak into the place and Maru kills several man-eating monsters before reaching the biggest one. However, before Maru can kill the monster, it emits a strange light that causes other smaller monsters to appear and attack them. The monsters pounce on Kiruko and begin eating her, but just as she's about to give up, she opens her eyes to see Maru kissing her. It turns out the entire experience was a hallucination, and Maru kissed her to bring her back to reality. He then kills the monsters with his powers. Not long after that, a man wearing an eye patch approaches them and introduces himself as Dr. Usami, the leader of the Immortal Order, and then asks them to help him kill another monster. Afterward, Usami takes them back to his headquarters, but to their surprise, it looks nothing like what the Livuman organization told them. Instead, the place is filled with grateful people who have all undergone Usami's life-saving modifications. After showing them the patients, Usami takes Maru and Kiruko to see another patient in critical condition, who appears to be his family member named Hoshio. She was attacked by a man-eating monster, and now all that's keeping her alive are Usami's devices. Usami reveals that he had studied the monsters and discovered that if a human is bitten by one, the person would become infected with a virus, which would then transform them into a man-eater if the infected part is not removed on time. But unfortunately, removing the body part only buys time because the person would still eventually become a monster. After explaining this to them, Usami asks Maru to kill the girl now before she changes into a monster, stating that she wishes to die as a human, not a mindless monster. Even though Hoshio can't speak, she communicates through a tablet and tells him that her last wish is to see the sky one last time. Kiruko is touched, so she suggests that since the room isn't too far from the outside, they can slowly move the bed and the devices keeping her alive out of the room to the balcony, so they can fulfill her last wish. Meanwhile, the Livuman organization is holding a rather violent demonstration against the Immortal Order, and in the process, their leader, Mizuhashi, hits her head on the ground in an accident. Soon after, the man who was in charge of looking after her informs the organization that she's dead, and blames it on the Immortal Order. As a result, he orders a full-scale attack on the Immortal Order, describing it as a terrorist organization, forcibly taking human parts. With the hatred they have for the Immortal Order, along with the news they received that all the monsters are now dead, they proceed to attack Dr. Usami's organization. Back in the Immortal Order, Maru and Kiruko finally help Hoshio to see the sky, and tears tool down her face, knowing her last wish has been fulfilled so she can finally die in peace. Maru closes his eyes and uses his powers to crush her heart ever so gently, killing her. Afterward, Usami reads Hoshio's last message to him from the tablet. She thanks him for everything he had done for her, helping her see, and adding that she loves him, which pushes Usami to tears. As the Livuman take over the Immortal Order's headquarters, it is revealed that the new leader only desired to obtain the building and equipment, but he's unaware that there's still a monster living in the basement. After escaping the attack, Usami decides to take the rest of his people, along with Maru and Kiruko, to a nearby village to seek refuge. Before embarking on the journey, he takes Hoshio's body to a building, remembering how he had given her one of his eyes after the monster had taken her. Realizing that he's lost his last loved one, he breaks down even more. Outside, Kiruko shows a picture of the strange doctor and Robin to the patients, and she finds out that Robin was Usami's assistant 2 years back but suddenly left. Up on a rooftop, Usami holds Hoshio's body in his arms, and it seems her death has taken away his will to live, so he kisses her forehead and shoots himself in the head. Maru and Kiruko hear the gunshot and rush to the rooftop only to find Hoshio's and Usami's corpses lying together. Seeing this, Maru breaks down, blaming himself, but Kiruko consoles him and tells him that his power is the last hope for humanity because his hands are the only known way to fully kill a man-eating monster. That brings us to the end of today's recap on Heavenly Delusion. I hope you enjoyed this recap as much as I did. Please hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and kindly comment below if you would like to see the next part. Bye and thanks for watching. See you next time.